Well, although our trip has been relatively closely controlled by the authorities, we have been able to see that particularly the Tibetan area of Lhasa is still very much, there's a very heavy military presence in that area. There's very little normal activity going on. The monasteries are still completely shut down. The monks are not allowed to leave. It's in this part of town, it's still almost completely shut down.
Now, you were there as those 30 or so Buddhist monks crashed the party, if you like, came in there and started declaring it was all a lie, that this had been staged, that even the monks at prayer were not what they seemed. Give us a sense of the emotion that you were able to personally get out of this, the sense of, was there genuine desperation, did you feel, on the part of these monks?
It definitely did feel that way. It was a very confusing, dramatic sort of event. The 30 young monks seemed to come out of nowhere and pushed aside a more senior monk and started talking to us. Some of them were openly weeping. They seemed very agitated, very emotional. They were shouting slogans in favor of the Dalai Lama and in favor of Tibet, free Tibet. And they were also sharply critical of the way they thought we were being treated by the authorities. They accused the authorities of hoodwinking us by pretending that life was going on as normal within the temple, which it clearly is not at this stage.
Did you get a sense of a sort of a blanket security presence now across Lhasa?
Well, the security presence is very much limited to what's known as the old Tibetan quarter of the city. And in the western part of the city, where a lot of the more recent Han Chinese migrants have moved over the last decade or so, life does seem to be going on as normal. But in what is known as the Tibetan quarter of the city, there is very heavy security presence. And I've just been down there again this morning. I was wandering around for about an hour. I had my passport checked about 3 times. There are police on every block. All the areas around the main monasteries are completely shut off, as there are a number of other areas. It's still a very, very heavy security presence there.
Well, we've heard from Chinese officials that things are calm, stable and normal now across Tibet. Other reports would indicate the place is a powder keg ready to go off between either of these two poles or perhaps beyond them. What is your sense of the true situation?
Well, I should stress that it's very hard to get a real sense of how the Tibetan population feels about these issues. Given the continuous surveillance, there's very few Tibetans who would be willing to talk freely and frankly with a foreign journalist about what they think at the moment. But certainly this incident in the temple yesterday with the young monks and the amount of emotion and resentment they seem to feel suggested that there's still a very deep resentment running throughout the Tibetan community here.